Can we have a decent discussion about Arrival?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. That's what I figured.
Yeah. You can have a discussion about Arrival. That's not going to be a problem.
Okay.
I fucking cried during Arrival.
Because I like...
Yeah, your parents made fun of you.
I think some of our best pods have been ones where we can go off on, like great discussions about it.
What are you talking about? Val Venus was great during Will.
What?
Remember when we talked about Val Venus?
Yeah,
and,
the WWE superstar. No, but...
Oh, yeah.
No, but like Blade Runner, we spent like a good majority about talking about stuff, and then the tangents we went on were hilarious.
Well, that's why I picked this. I thought we'd have a decent discussion.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Arrival. If you hadn't picked it, I would have picked it eventually.
And then I'm picking Boogie Nights after.
Because it'll be 69.
You haven't seen that?
No.
God, that's
Wow.
great.
That's a fucking movie.
Well, literally.
Well,
It is a fucking movie.
somewhat. I mean, that movie was not what I expected.
Oh, no.
Like, when it first came out, I'm like, Boogie Nights. You read the synopsis, you're like a porn star. All right. You start watching it, you're like, oh, this is way fucking weirder and crazier than I thought it would be.
You get to see Heather Graham naked in roller skates.
Yeah. Because she's
Everyone's
never gotten
seen
naked
her
before.
I was going to say, because Heather Graham's never been naked. On roller skates.
It's like the kid that comes to high school and goes, I saw Jenna Jameson naked.
It's
You're like,
You're like,
I'd be more surprised if he was like, I saw her with clothes on.
Because what year is it?
Yeah, all the kids now are like, who the fuck is Jenna Jameson?
Who would it have been when I was in high school? Probably
Pamela Anderson?
I can picture her. The blonde with like the big fake titties.
Dude, you had to be way more... Jenny McCarthy? Pamela
Well,
Anderson?
I was going to say Tracy Morgan. That's not... Tracy Morgan has a porn star name. Tracy Morgan... No.
I'm Tracy Morgan. Welcome to my ass.
What the fuck is this? What's your name?
Brandy Smith?
No, something Morgan.
Pierce?
I'm going to Google porn stars named Morgan.
Gianna Morgan.
A to Z list.
Do you know how many fucking porn stars that are gonna have?
Katie Morgan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I know Katie
either.
Morgan.
Katie Morgan was the one when I was in high school.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wouldn't have known Katie Morgan.
Oh, you know Katie Morgan.
She's in Zack and Miri.
Yeah,
Oh, I wasn't a big fan.
of Zack and Miri.
No, of course I love Zack and
No, I know
Miri.
you were talking about. I just wanted to make you uncomfortable.
They're too fake.
They weren't though.
Oh.
They got fake later.
Mm.
Used to be nice. Are we doing a pod tonight?
Or Jake Dirk
Can
went out.
I just pick a porn movie and we watch that and talk about it?
I mean, it might be a little awkward.
Like,
how long is it? Your penis.
I mean, it doesn't matter how long it is. I jerk off 2 minutes into the video anyways, and then we're done.
Say, if it was one of those parody ones, I'd be like, okay, sure.
Really?
Just for shits and
And he's
giggles, like we do a joke
We're
one.
like, there's no plot here.
We actually critique it.
Yeah. I wasn't really...
That might actually be pretty good for like an April Fool's Day sometime.
I wasn't really buying that he wanted to deliver that sausage.
For being a Superman, he was super small.
Right. This plot made no sense.
And I don't think it's very realistic because he would have blown his load in like a shotgun coming out of her back.
And then the reviews were like, well, we all nutted anyway. 10 out of 10.
Oh.
All right. Are we ready?
Yes.
Christ. Hello, welcome to TJD, episode 65. We watch SubUrbia.
I'm Ty.
Jake.
And I'm Drew.
The 1996 film Who was the director again?
Richard Linklater.
Thank you. You're better with names than I am. Starring J.C. Bartok, Parker Posey, Giovanni Ribisi, Steve Zahn. Is it Ribisi or
Ribisi?
Ribisi, sorry. I apologize. Yeah, Drew or Jake, this was your pick.
Yeah.
Gosh,
Jake.
I keep wanting to say it.
You
was
really,
Drew's.
like, in your soul, you feel like Drew picked this movie.
I do.
I'll take
yes.
credit for it.
Yeah. No, this was my pick, and just a brief synopsis, because honestly, there's not a ton that goes on. But I'm just going to read it straight off IMDb, because they word it better and more eloquently than I would. But it's 5 young losers spend their days and nights wasting their lives away, hanging out in parking lots, and occasionally mentioning that they might want to make something of themselves someday. On this particular night, they're visited by an old high school friend who has escaped their suburban town to become a pop star. Or a rock star. Whatever.
He's a pop star.
He is.
It was pretty poppy. Was not a fan. So.
He was kind of John Mayer-esque.
Garbage?
I don't think all of John Mayer is garbage.
What's not garbage?
Your body's a wonderland.
That's not garbage?
Yeah.
Why?
It gets girls going.
I actually can't argue with
You
that.
can't argue with the results.
Maybe I've got them all wrong.
He himself is an asshole.
The next pod, I'm wearing a John Mayer t-shirt.
Yeah. He said, guys, I just learned how to play guitar and I started writing some songs.
I just whine like a bitch in the corner. It gets them super wet. That's the secret, right?
Hey, he dated Katy Perry, Jennifer Aniston, Taylor Swift. I mean, he's not doing bad.
Doing better than me. I would say I hear I'm a nicer guy, but I don't think that's true.
I don't know. He is an asshole.
Yeah.
From what I've heard.
Well, thanks. I'll take that as a compliment.
But I mean, really, dating Katy Perry isn't a big thing. I mean, she blew Orlando Bloom in the middle of a freaking like dock.
What?
So, they were on like his or her yacht, and they were not too far from shore, and she just was giving him a BJ. Everybody could see it. So.
How did this fly under my radar?
Ty was there on the boat.
I was.
Yeah, your binoculars.
Mm.
You were steaming them up. What year?
Oh gosh, it was recently.
I need latitude, longitude.
See if Google Earth caught it. Let's see. It was before she got her new haircut. I know that.
Strong start to this pod.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm feeling it.
Yeah, it was recent. 16, 17.
Huh. Another reason to hate Orlando Bloom.
So, what about these pros and cons for this movie?
I don't know. What do you feel in your soul?
What do I feel in my soul?
Yeah. You want to kick it off?
I'll give a pro. The dialogue is fucking great.
Yeah.
I like it because it just feels like normal people having normal conversations.
For the most part.
Yeah.
I agree it's a pro. It's got good writing. It reminds me a lot of Clerks, to be honest. It's
exactly.
It's like a more morbid Clerks. There's
Mm-hmm.
not as much, lightheartedness.
It's a lot of self-deprecating stuff.
Right. A lot of philosophical longing. It's it's not a happy movie really.
No.
But some of the dialogue I didn't care for.
Such as?
Well, Jeff's girlfriend, her little art exhibit, I didn't care for that.
Okay, well that's
minor, but Jeff would also have lines, like I told Ty earlier, like, I agree with almost everything Jeff says, and I think he's a smart guy, and he's written really well,
Mm-hmm.
but, like, there's a part where they're eating fast food, and he's like, oh, we're in this fucking...
consumerist.
this consumerist bullshit, eating dead meat, and we're like zombies. Like, he gets a little cringy sometimes, but they're also younger.
Mm-hmm.
Like, your early 20s. Like, that's what the movie's about. You're in that weird phase between you're a kid, you have no responsibilities, and then you're suddenly an adult, and you're supposed to be grown, and you're supposed to just jump into it, and it's hard.
Youth angst.
Yeah, it's a very angsty movie. But I do agree, a lot of the dialogue is really on point and makes you think, like, yeah, I can totally understand and empathize where you're coming from. Sometimes, though, like, that part, you're a little like, eh.
I agree.
But I would call it pro. I'd agree. Ty?
I go back and forth on it because like you said, sometimes it's really good. Other times, like her stupid monologue,
Right.
is awful.
Right.
And I think sometimes Ribisi or Ribisi. I'm gonna struggle.
You can call him Jeff if you want.
Okay, Jeff.
Jeff is
His
Giovanni
his
Ribisi for the
character.
listener.
Jeff goes way overboard sometimes. I think like he. What's the word I want to say?
Dramatic?
Yes, he's over dramatic. He's like, fuck this. Like, I get what he's saying. He's like, everybody's done. It's all been done before. It's all been said before.
Right.
What the fuck doesn't matter? But like, I think he blows it completely out of proportion to the point that he's like, what's the point ever doing anything? I want to do nothing.
Right.
And I don't know. I guess that just conflicts with my type of personality. So like, for me, seeing it, like, I can understand it to a point, and then after a while, it starts sounding like white noise to me because...
So would you say that you don't think it's well written, or you just don't relate to it very much?
I don't think I relate to it very much.
Okay.
Here's the thing with Jeff, though. I think he's at a crossroads in his life. He's still trying to kind of find what he's about and where he's going with his life.
Yep.
So I think he's constantly questioning himself and the world around him.
Mm-hmm. And he questions others
Mm-hmm.
who think they have it figured out, which is kind of... I mean, it's a flaw in people. It's not a flaw in the movie, really. Like, do you know people like that think they just got everything figured out, and they'll tell everybody else what they got to do to fix their situation, and you're like, do you really know what the fuck you're talking about?
There's a difference between, like, lecturing people on what they've got wrong or offering advice as what they could do to change their situation. But
Right.
I think in this case, in Pony's case, their friend that came back, he was kind of being a dick about it, thinking he knew everything about everything. And he had, since he'd become this rock star and he'd gone out on the road and he's made all these experiences and he thinks he's worldly and knows
Right.
what he's talking about. And Jeff kind of calls him out on it.
Right. But Jeff also kind of calls his girlfriend out.
Yeah.
When she's like, oh, this is how I feel. This is my art. And he's like, what are you trying to say with this? She's like, oh, it's about sexism and racism. And he's like, name a black person. Like, you don't even know a black person.
And she
struggles and names one. And he goes like, one! You named one person. Like, you're I don't know, you're
preaching about something you might not even know anything about.
Or the other thing that really bothers me that real people do is they carry a flag for something because that's what everybody else does. You know what I mean? Like, you're a part of that group. Like, I'm vegan because I love animals, but you don't really love animals. You just like the attention that comes with being vegan.
It's hive mind mentality.
Well, it's hive mind, and it's, I need something that's unique because I need to stand out, and the only way to do that is to do this, or to preach that I'm all about this. And it's, I don't know, it's a slippery slope because the people that really do care, like, about racism and stuff like that, like, good. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. What Jeff's trying to say, though, when he points that out is you don't actually believe in half the shit you're saying. You're just saying it to get into your art school.
Well, see, and like, I had heard this before, too, and I guess they just redid the survey. Like, a big thing that people have an issue with is the Washington Redskins. Like, they're like, you know, that's a terrible nickname.
Oh, it's offensive.
The Washington Post has done, it was originally done by the Annenberg Public Policy Center in 2004, and then the Washington Post redid it just last year in 2016. And it was pretty much the same exact result. 9 out of 10 Native Americans don't care.
Right.
And so it's really not coming from them. It's coming from others
Right.
for them.
The group it actually affects is not affected by it. So why are you freaking out about it? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. There's a lot of shit that's going on in this movie. Like, it's funny because, like, plot-wise, there's not really a lot of shit going on. A friend from high school, Pony, became a rock star. He comes back to town and comes back to the corner where they all hung out, and everyone else is still just kind of there.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much it. Like, they go get Chinese food, but for the most part, there's not a lot of going around in this movie.
No.
It's just one area. And for being in one area relatively, they did a good job of making it interesting, I thought.
Yeah.
Like, it never really feels like mundane, I guess. Like, I don't know, I don't want to, it's a way better movie to even throw it out. It's just the first one that comes to mind is like 12 Angry Men. You're all in one room for a whole movie. Yet they directed it and edited it in a way that makes it feel like exciting, like shit's going on. Even though it's dialogue, that's it.
And some of that is this was a play.
Right.
So they really couldn't change anything.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you have acts and everything, but they probably tried keeping it all the same set.
And while you mentioned that it's a play, I got a light con. I can't call it a pro. It's always kind of bothered me. The ending just comes out and like it wraps up like that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, the girl's on the roof. Like, you've thrown it all away, and then a montage of people doing their everyday shit, which I guess is to highlight, like, oh, this night was, you know, this big deal for all these people, but the world goes on and nobody gives a shit about your struggle or whatever. But, like, it's, like, they got that almost, it's like an overhead shot of him, like, taking care of the girl, and then that's it.
Yep.
It's a little underwhelming after everything that it's been building.
It kind of ends on a downer.
Yeah, I mean, I expected this movie to end on a downer. I thought I'd get more of a definitive, like, resolution, but it literally just kind of opens itself, and that's it. Just, it's gone. And you're like, huh, I don't really, like, I get what a lot of the movie's doing, but the ending, I'm always like, what am I supposed to feel right now? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying, like, I need a definitive, like, I don't need everything spelled out for me. I'm not saying that, but it really doesn't spell a lot out at all. It's just, like, done.
Mm-hmm.
But don't worry, BB makes a full recovery.
Oh, God. Directed by Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh, hi, Jeff.
Oh my gosh, there's a Jeff in this.
That's why I said it.
I know.
Jeez.
I'm making a joke.
What just happened? What do you think of Steve Zahn?
Pro.
He gets a little much sometimes, but I think he's pretty good.
I think in a movie where the subject matter is as serious as it is, with talks of suicide and violence and all sorts of stuff, very self-deprecating conversation, Steve Zahn adds a kind of lightheartedness to the movie that's much needed.
He's your lovable stoner.
And actually, we all kind of know that friend who maybe drinks or parties a little too hard and then ends up doing really stupid shit.
Right.
I think we've all had that friend.
That's Steve Zahn in this movie to a T.
Yeah, I like Zahn in this movie. And you'd mentioned he can get to be a little much. I agree, but I always feel that way about Steve Zahn. Like, everything I've ever seen him in, he's always been like, he hits that point eventually. Even Saving Silverman, I think.
Nope.
Yeah, I know. I'll never get you to feel that way, but that's okay.
He's great in Sahara. He's perfect in That Thing You Do. Saving Silverman is his peak.
Do you have a Steve Zahn tramp stamp?
No, just his face on my dick.
It's right next to Leslie Nielsen.
Wow.
What? Is that an image you didn't want to think about?
It's not the best spot for a tattoo.
It hurts.
I bet.
Did you have to get it hard?
No. See, and so now when it does, you can't tell what it is.
It'd be worse if you got hard like halfway through. And then it's all fucked up.
He looks like he had a stroke.
So when it's flaccid, it's all squished together.
It looks like Steve Zahn.
You could never show anyone.
No.
You'd have to come out hard. Like, there it is. You'd be like, why do you have a button tattoo on your dick? Oh, it's someone's face?
No, Jake, you're misunderstanding. I got it. Flaccid. So when it erects, it doesn't look like anything.
Wow, that's a super thin tattoo. I don't think you know how those work.
It's like those dinosaurs that you throw water
Is
on.
it, one of the wet application tattoos. Oh, it's a fake one.
No, it's real.
Oh, boy.
My mom helped me put it on.
Wow, that says all sorts of stuff about you.
So how'd she wet that down? Let's call her and find out.
With a wash rag. Like,
oh, wash rag, not just the mouth, huh?
That's disgusting.
Yeah. You drew the line there?
Yeah.
All right.
More pros, more cons?
I'd say pro. I love the music in this movie. Like I said it was either one pod ago, whenever I said like, oh, I'm thinking of doing this movie, it's because I heard one of the songs from the movie.
Didn't Sonic Youth do a track?
I think Sonic Youth did do... I feel like I read that. They had a song in the movie. I know Skinny Puppy had Colt in the movie. It's featured pretty prominently when BB throws that bottle back after Jeff walks away. That's the song that's playing. Mm-hmm. And that was the one that I heard when I'm like, fuck, I should use SubUrbia. But no one's ever fucking heard of it, or...
Nope.
You can't really buy it. You can buy it digitally.
You can't buy a DVD copy?
I don't think so.
It's something you had to Wikipedia see if they actually released it or not.
To the Googles.
I mean, you would think a director like Richard Linklater that has all this fame now could, get somebody to distribute, but...
Oh, yeah.
Maybe he's, you could buy it?
Oh, wait. This might be a different movie. That's quite a...
Yeah, that's not... There's a different SubUrbia from the 80s.
Yeah, that's not it.
But I was just saying, you'd think he'd be able to get it, but maybe... I don't know, maybe he's... I don't know him, so maybe... You think he's ashamed of it?
I don't think he's ashamed of it. I think because it's not up to him who releases it. He might not have the rights to it, and so it's up to the distributing company. If they don't feel they can make enough money off of it, why release it?
Right, but he could also buy his rights to it.
That's
and
true.
Release it to somebody.
I can't find a DVD copy on Amazon, but I can get you a VHS copy for $17.
I'll put that in the VCR. I no
Probably
longer have.
because he doesn't own the rights to it. But then he has to pay to distribute it. Also, do you think he's not going to distribute it if he doesn't think he's going to make money?
I think he would make money.
I don't think he. Me personally, I don't think he would. This movie is so unknown that if he were to release it now on DVD, I don't think he would make his money back because you have to mass produce it.
Well, I don't think you have to mass produce it. You can do a limited run. Companies do lots of limited runs. Like, yeah. I get what you're saying. The question is there a demand for this movie? And
no.
You don't think there's a cult following, though?
Maybe.
Because how the fuck have I seen it if nobody else has seen it?
Because you were watching IFC back when IFC used to actually show independent films.
Was it on IFC?
I believe it was IFC back
I was like,
in the day.
how the fuck did you see this movie then?
It was on cable. Well, is IFC even cable?
Yeah.
I saw it on a fucking television back in the day. I don't know the fucking channel. And I watched it and said, that was pretty good. And as the years went on, I realized everyone I fucking asked about this movie, nobody's really watched it. I think Paul's seen it. But Paul is not your average movie person. He will go out of the way to hunt things down.
I think the DVDs were a rare release. Or limited release anyway, because there's I can find one place where you can get it for $20.
So maybe they already did the limited thing and they're gone.
And they
made 20 copies and they were gone like that.
Or they're still sitting around for $20.
Yeah. Back when Sam Goody had DVDs for $40.
Who's Sam Goody?
Exactly.
No, I'm being serious.
It was a store where you could buy overpriced CDs and movies and electronics.
Used to be in the mall.
Oh.
It was like a
really overpriced.
It was like an FYE.
Oh, okay. I was gonna ask that, like a Suncoast.
Yeah, like you'd walk in and be like, "Wow, I can get Showdown in Little Tokyo for $55. That's great."
I bought Nutty Professor 2 for $40.
Oh,
back when
what?
Yeah, back when DVD. That was the first DVD I ever bought.
Why?
$40. Because I was a teenager and I was stupid and I had
at the
money.
register was like, "What the fuck are you doing, kid?"
Reevaluate your life decisions.
He's like, not Nutty Professor 1, not even Dr. Doolittle. You bought Nutty Professor 2. Was it
Naughty Professor?
Yeah.
That's a
The
better
porn
movie.
version?
That's a better movie.
Janet Jackson gets naked in that one.
Yeah.
With the help of Justin Timberlake?
No, just Eddie Murphy.
Oh.
Fat Eddie Murphy.
You don't remember that Super Bowl?
Yes, I remember. Everyone remembers that.
I remember.
Super Bowl.
So I was in high school and that happened. I remember going and being like, "Who won the Super Bowl?" And my friend goes, "Janet Jackson." I was like, "What?"
No, everyone won.
Everyone won?
Yeah.
Was it really that good, though? All that fuss.
Did you not see it?
All that fuss about a titty. Was it really that crazy?
I think it's
At the time, yeah.
Yeah, because
Really?
that never appeared on TV.
Dude, that was on the news for like weeks.
I didn't even notice it.
You really had to have TiVo.
Which would have been a fortune at the time.
Yes, but people who did could rewind it, or people who were using their VHS player to tape the Super Bowl.
It's crazy to think about all the technology that was like crazy, unaffordable back when I was in high school that's now dead. Like I remember hating a kid that had a Zune. I'm like, I gotta get a Zune. That's gonna be the future, man.
And where's Zoom now?
I don't know.
What's Zune?
Exactly. It's a poor man's iPad.
It's not even an iPad.
Or an iPod.
Yeah.
Excuse me. No, I gave it more credit than it deserved. At the time, though, I was like, wow, I can take however many albums I want anywhere? Do you remember when that was a
300
thing?
songs.
I had a CD player.
Yeah.
I had to go to Autotech downtown, and fucking kids used to steal my CD players like once a week. So I'd buy the same fucking albums because the same CD would be in there, and they just keep taking the fucking thing. So eventually I just put a sign on my bag that said, I don't give a fuck if you take the player, just put the CD back, please. I'm tired of getting the same fucking Chronic Future album.
Oh, I was going to say, like Pearl Jam or No Doubt.
No, it was Chronic Future. Or it was Velvet Revolver.
Or
Those were my jams.
Hinder.
You hear that, kids? These bands that no longer matter?
Hinder.
No, it was never Hinder. No.
Jake Craig, Lips of an Angel.
What? Jake Craig, Lips of an Angel?
Yes.
What the fuck?
Jake Cranked, Lips of an
that's
Angel.
Jake Craig.
Don't call me Jake Craig.
Jenny Craig?
Oh, God.
How about this movie?
Oh, I did want to say, I had a CD player. I didn't actually have one in my car, so I had to do that where you plug in your Walkman and then put in
The tape?
the tape
Yeah.
to make it play through the stereo.
Oh, yeah, I was
had
there,
one
too.
of those too.
God. And it
Those were the
skipped all the
days.
time because you hit bump and that thing would rattle and you're like, well, shit. There goes that disc.
Kids will never know our
Yeah.
struggles.
Yeah, they had Bluetooth.
Yeah.
Can you imagine 2006 if someone would have told you the word Bluetooth? You'd have been like, you ever brushed it? Well, right?
Yeah. Nice joke.
Took you a minute. No, it's not a good joke. But that wasn't a term. Like,
No.
Yeah, it was.
if you would... Bluetooth?
I'm pretty sure they had the headsets. They hadn't integrated it into like
Oh, you mean the
stereos
old ones?
and stuff. Yeah, where you sync it up to your phone and you could talk.
And you got a brain tumor because they hadn't figured it out yet?
Yeah.
Good times.
Oh.
Hope your phone call was worth it. That was kind of cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why I did that.
I remember-
Fuck you for adapting early technology.
I remember
What a dick.
I remember watching that 80s show and the first joke in the pilot was literally a guy in a bar having one of those huge ass cell phones. He's like, yeah, dude, I'm at the club talking to you on this phone. And he like shows it like towards the camera.
And you're like, this show's not going to make it.
Yeah, you're like, wow, this is crap.
Wasn't Glenn Howerton in that?
Yep. He like,
poor bastard.
he played, what was Topher Grace and
Eric?
He played like his cousin.
Dumbass.
Yeah.
Great show.
Yes. Well, until the last season.
Or when
last
Eric went to Africa or something.
Yeah.
He pulled a Dave Chappelle for no reason.
Topher Grace is like, I got an acting career now. I'm in Spider-Man 3. I was in Win a Date with Tad Hamilton.
I was miscast as Eddie Brock.
Yeah.
Aren't I big and menacing? Okay.
Yeah, back to SubUrbia.
Pros, cons. Go ahead. I know you're waiting.
This movie, to me, I don't know whether to go with con or pro, but I'm just stating it. Watching it, I kept thinking Clerks.
Yeah.
But like a very more sappy, melodramatic version of Clerks.
Why do you say sappy, though?
I say sappy because of Jeff's character and Tim. Like, Tim's an alcoholic, which is, okay, understandable, but like he doesn't want to do anything with his life. You have Jeff, who also is like, life doesn't matter, who cares? I don't know, like they were Dante if Dante was like in extreme depression.
I don't think that Tim and Jeff didn't want to do anything with their life. I think they were struggling with finding motivation to do anything with their life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand.
Like, I don't think they were content to just do nothing. Because if that were true, then they wouldn't be bothered by it. So if anybody felt that way, it'd be Tim more so than Jeff. Because Tim was just kind of like, fuck it. Like, Tim didn't give a shit. No. He'd checked out. He decided his life was fucked. That's kind of why he brings the gun at the end. Like, oh, I can introduce anarchy. Well, can't say that without thinking Dark Knight. Nicky Katt was actually in Dark Knight, now that I think about it. The part where they're under the bridges and they're attacking the truck that Gordon's in the back of. He's the driver.
Oh.
Yeah. So he's making all the commentary about the helicopter and all that. I was like, oh shit, it's Nicky Katt. I looked around the theater and nobody knew who that was. So, yeah.
I don't know who that was.
He's in Boiler Room.
Never saw Boiler Room.
Fuck, man. Boiler Room's good. Boiler Room is Wolf of Wall Street before Wolf of Wall Street.
Who's in Boiler Room?
Giovanni Ribisi. And Nicky Katt. Vin Diesel is in it too.
Oh.
It's fuck it. I'll just pick it someday. Okay. This isn't the Boiler Room pod.
Okay.
Whatever. I get what you're saying. That it's not a movie that everyone's gonna identify with. If you haven't had like, I don't know, like it's one of those time periods that not everybody experiences.
And like we talked about, we had to pause this film for just a little bit, and Jake and I were talking about it, and he kind of mentioned it didn't seem like I was enjoying it as much, but I said had I watched this at a certain point in my life, I probably would have resonated with this film more. But watching it now, I just was like, I don't know, it just didn't hit me.
Right.
It wasn't like doing it for me. So
and that's fair. Like, it's not every movie you watch you're gonna identify with what's going on. Like, I watch Wolf of Wall Street, I don't identify with any of that. I've never lived that life, but it's entertaining to watch other people kind of go through that. Like, oh, he's getting wild, he's being crazy, but
he's fucking Margot Robbie.
Yeah, fuck him, right?
Yeah.
What a dick. But I didn't mean that like, oh, what a dick.
It's magnificent.
Yeah, look at Liam's dick.
No. But movies like this aren't that movie. Like, you don't throw this on and go, wow, they're living the life. You're like, fuck, they're in an awkward moment. And I feel bad for almost every character in this movie. I don't feel bad for Pony. I don't feel bad for Jeff's girlfriend. I really don't. Because you're creating this illusion that you have everything figured out when you don't. like, oh, I'm putting out great art and everybody likes it and I'm important now, but are you putting out great art and are you saying something you actually believe in? One of those things. Everybody else, you're kind of like, you kind of want to root for him, like you want him to figure it out.
I don't know if I could say that about Tim.
Yeah, I was gonna say I really really liked Tim's character up until a certain point in the movie.
What point?
Where number one, where he went and he got drunk and he started lying about what happened with Erica.
Okay.
And then he comes back right afterwards, picks up a 6-pack and he's got his flask and he brings the gun and starts fucking with the store clerk. And
so here's the thing that I think, I get what you're saying. The thing with Tim, so about halfway through the movie, Giovanni Ribisi, or Jeff, sits with the blonde girl and has this moment where he goes, I've been thinking about life, and anything that I don't do, that's me fucking up. I'm overthinking things. If I'm not bound by anything. Pony's stuck to the limo and everything, but I'm not bound. I have my freedom. So you can't make a wrong move when you're free to do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, I'm free. I'm not bound by anything. Nothing can faze me. Blah, blah, blah. And Tim kind of cheers him on. I think that Tim saying, hey, I killed Erica. I beat the shit out of her. She's unconscious in the van. Was calling his bluff. Because, Giovanni Ribisi's like, oh, I've reevaluated my life. I'm going to go to New York and, we're going to figure it out because that's what we do because I'm not bound and I can pay my future, blah, blah, blah. But if you can't take that step, then you're just talking out your ass.
But then I don't understand how him not wanting to go see a dead body equates to him not being bound.
It's a life thing.
is it like a test of character or
right? This is your new mentality on life. Let's put it to the test. So if you're not bound by anything, this should have no impact, or what's the bearing on you? I'm your friend.
I thought that was kind of a stretch, though. In the fact that Jeff's like, you lied to me. He goes, I was coming up with excuses, like lies, to get you out of it because you're my best friend.
Right.
Like, I don't know. It just seemed kind of... I don't know. I didn't like Tim's approach to it.
Okay.
But
no.
I think that's the kind of guy he is.
I also
kind of don't give a fuck kind of attitude.
I also kind of like when he's talking to Erica, the Pony's publicist, and because they stick together while the others go get food, and they're just chatting, and he mentions he went into the Army with Air Force with all good intentions, but then things just weren't going right for him. He didn't think it was the right fit. So instead of facing it, or even facing it, just a normal discharge or some sort, he decides to cut off his own finger.
Right. Well, how is he getting out of it?
I'm not sure. I'm sure there are ways, but I don't know how. But to cut off your own finger, it just doesn't... Get in a bar fight, get dishonorably discharged.
And then...
Well, then you're not getting the check.
Yeah.
Well, and then he talked about himself not being gutless, and I think doing something like that is completely gutless.
What was gutless?
Him cutting off his own finger to get out of a contract that he signed.
Yeah, but he didn't tell that story to Jeff. You get what I'm saying?
Still, but he's like, I'm not gutless because I didn't tell you that story.
All right, listen here. You say certain things when you're talking with girls that you're interested in getting with that you don't tell dudes. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but then in the end, aren't you just lying to yourself?
Well, how are you lying to yourself?
That you're saying you're not gutless, but you are.
Well, he's not gutless to Jeff.
But he is gutless.
Well,
how is he gutless when he acts on literally every other impulse in the movie?
Because he cut off his own fucking finger to get out of an obligation that he had.
Because it wasn't what he thought it was.
Tough shit. It's what you signed up for.
I think he signed up because he wanted to go back to having...
He wanted to go back to a routine he was familiar with.
A routine. Like, I think people like having a routine. Like, you're supposed to be doing this. And as long as you're being told what you have to do, you're fine. But when the training wheels are taken off and you're just fucking coasting out there, you're like, what the fuck do I do now? So he's drinking a lot. He's just he's doing nothing.
So you're saying it's like Brooks from Shawshank? Where he doesn't have that structure, he doesn't have that routine in his life, so it gets mundane and he just wants out of it?
I think Brooks was like a way more extreme. Like, he'd been in jail his whole life.
I'm just saying it's an example.
Yeah, that's how I take it. I mean, I could be reading too much into it, but no, the only thing I don't like about Tim and most of the people in the movie is this movie's racist. Like,
oh yeah,
it's not a movie that would be happening now. Not like this, or there would be at least a bunch of backlash. I can't just say like the movie's racist. The way that they treat a couple characters in the movie is fucked up.
Calling them camel jocks.
Yeah, camel jockeys and towelhead and, you know, saying, I can smell you from here. It's called roll on. Like, they make a lot of fucking...
Grease monkey.
Yeah. It's... That part has not aged very well. Not that it was ever good. You know what I mean? It's hard to... I remember seeing it at the time, like, when it wasn't as old as it is, and not really thinking too much into it, but now, you definitely are like, whoa.
But again, that's something that adds probably to the realism of the film.
I'd agree. I'm just saying it's... In terms of character flaws, that's the most deplorable thing, I think.
I mean, I agree that his ex-girlfriend's a bitch. Jeff's ex-girlfriend's a bitch. She is. She's self-centered, and she really just wants... She's been wanting to be with Pony. And Jeff was the only thing around.
Mm-hmm. I don't even know if she was just so obsessed about being with Pony. It was more so like, I get to be an artist and I get to do the things that I want to do because this is my ticket out of here.
Well, Pony tells her all the bullshit she wants to hear.
Yeah.
Well, but also at the same time, she was the one who was like, I need to see Pony. I can't wait to see him. She was the one who even set up the meeting. She's the one who really wanted to see him. I think she knew something had been there before. It just, Jeff was the one she was with.
So. But you don't feel bad for Jeff?
I feel a little bit bad for Jeff, but this, sometimes it's like with Tim, it's the friends you choose. He chose Tim as a friend, and then he's mad when Tim like gets pissed at the store owner and starts threatening him, and then he's trying to calm him down, calling him. He's mad when he lied to him, but it's like, hey, this is this guy. You should know this is a possibility. So
I think time goes on, hypothetically speaking. Time goes on, Jeff outgrows Tim.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think
he's smarter than that to stick around with Tim.
I mean, even the one night we see Jeff is outgrowing what's going on around the stop or whatever.
But I agree with the store clerk who's like, you're better than this. You're smarter than this. And
right.
So, like, a part of me does feel bad for Tim, but a part of me is also like...
You mean Jeff?
Or Jeff, sorry. Yeah. Feels bad for Jeff, but another part of me just like, well, that's kind of just... He's put that on himself because he's felt like there's nothing for him to do. Which I get, people have time where... Because I've gone through it, where you don't know what you want to do. But... Is that on everyone else or is it on yourself?
Well, I do think I think there's a part of people that do that, though, when other people aren't going through what you're going through. You kind of resent it. Like, just the fact that they're all right. Like, maybe the shopkeep, like, that's what it is. Like, Tim's life is garbage. And, you know, he's drinking his ass off. He can't fucking get it up at one point in the movie. Like, it isn't going well. And I don't even really know if it's the fact that they're, you know, from another country that sets him off, or the fact that he can blame that. You know what I mean? And they're kind of the American dream. Like, the people running the shop, like, hey, we're building something. And you live here, and you talk about all this entitlement, like, you know, I was born in America. They say that a lot in the movie. But you're not working towards anything. You just want it handed to you. So it's kind of... I don't know. It's a deep movie. Like, I don't know. I'd be interested to, like, watch the play or hear like whoever wrote it like talk about where it's coming from. If it's coming from somewhere real, because it seems like it could, like personal experience, and to hear like what are you really driving home, rather than me reading into it. I'm not good at that. That's the thing about movies. Like they'll give you like
something open ended, and then it's up to you to figure out what you took out of it, or.
And that's also what I don't like about some movies. Like sometimes you watch a movie and you're like, okay, and then you go online and people are reading way too fucking far into it. Like maybe me talking about why he lied to Jeff. You're like, oh, he's talking out his ass. Because I've had that reaction too. Like you read something online, you're like, really? That's the explanation? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? But I like those movies to an extent, but sometimes I don't. Because of that, like you see all these interpretations and you're like, how the fuck did you even come up with that? Like, how did you get that? And I can't tell you you're wrong, because that's the thing about like art, real art is subjective. So I can't really come out and say such and such is garbage. I mean, we do a movie pod. We're rating entertainment, but to outright say what you did isn't art, like you can't really do it. But I'm just saying, I'd like to get legit, like, where's this coming from? Like, when you were writing it, what are you trying to tell me? But the thing is, with a lot of people that do something like that, they're never going to come out and say it. Because it's always, well, I won't say always, but a lot of the times it's probably not as great as you might have thought. Or it'll be something that you didn't like. You know what I mean?
Or it ruins what other people think it is, and they don't want to do that. They don't want to put finality to it, because then if somebody took something away from it and they say, nope, it's this, then they're like, well, shit. Then they look at it in a completely different light, and they might not like it.
Right. Like The Thing. Like the end of The Thing. Or Blade Runner. Like any number of movies where like there's fan theories and stuff like that.
Ridley Scott says he is a replicant, but Harrison Ford's like, to me, he wasn't.
Right.
So.
Or like, the end of The Thing, he was infected. Like if you just come out, it'll take away from the people that didn't think that. And those aren't like philosophical type things, but they're easy examples that we could throw out.
Inception's the biggest one.
Yeah.
Is he in a dream?
Yeah.
Or
did
is
it
he
topple?
not? Yeah.
I think it did.
I did
like
too.
It shook.
Yeah. I think it did too, but then there's all the theories that wasn't his actual thing.
Totem.
Yeah.
That his wedding ring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've seen those. But again, like, Christopher Nolan's never going to come out and be like, oh, fuck that group of people, they're wrong.
They're like, no, it's actually his son. His son's his totem, he has to spin him.
Do you think these directors or these creators of this content, like, sit back and just, like, kind of laugh at the people that try and theorize?
Oh, I'm sure there are some that they laugh at. I wouldn't be surprised.
I also think sometimes it's not intentional. Like, maybe in their head it was super clear, but then when they find out, like, oh, there's, like, mixed reactions, like, okay, we'll just roll with it.
Everyone here's seen Guardians, right? Guardians 2.
Yeah.
So the song Brandy by Looking Glass in the film, like, they expound upon it. Like, the song is given deeper meaning. I read an interview with the lead singer. He goes, I had no intention of that. But he goes, it was so cool for somebody to write our song into the film and then expound upon it like that and use it in such a metaphorical way.
Right.
He goes,
gave it emotional impact that was never there before.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I think that's what's cool about art, is that, like, somebody can create it for a particular purpose, and somebody else can experience it and have their own completely different theory or tangent that they think or have affiliated with.
The song Hurt. 9 Inch Nails did it, and then Johnny Cash did it. But Johnny Cash seems to, I think, fit him. Like, he changed some of the words, but the way he changed it seemed to really work with him.
He changed one word.
Yeah, he didn't want to swear, but yeah.
Wears a crown of thorns.
Yeah.
Not shit.
Yeah. But even the lead singer of 9 Inch Nails admitted, like, he seemed to have, like, lived that.
Right. Trent Reznor said it's not my song anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't know that?
No. Well, I knew that Reznor wrote it, but
yeah,
I didn't know that Reznor when publicly admitted he's like, that's Johnny Cash's song.
When Cash did it, he was like, that's his song now. Which is cool.
It's always when somebody does it better. Like if I was a singer and I did a song and somebody did it better than me, I'd be like, yeah, that's theirs.
Right. You killed it.
Yeah. Like Careless Whispers. Which do you prefer?
Neither.
Oh.
The Wham version.
George Michael's. Or Faith, Limp Bizkit, or George Michael's.
Nah.
I think both provide their own.
Neither.
What was that Disturbed song that they covered at
Down
Genesis?
the
Simon
Land of Confusion.
The Simon and Garfunkel song.
No, Land of Confusion.
By Genesis.
Down with the Sickness.
And then Richard Cheese did it.
Was that the
Dawn of the Dead? Yeah.
That was actually really creepy.
That's a great cover.
And then Weird Al also did it in one of his polkas. But
all right. Pro atmosphere. I like the locale. Like it has that we're out late, out on the town, just wasting away vibe. I don't know if you've ever been out late, but or even gone driving late back when you were young. Doesn't have to be recent, but it has that feel, and that's super
Pissing
crucial.
the night away.
Yeah, it's crucial to the movie. And there's some long tracking shots that are pretty cool too. Like when they walk down the street to where the fuck were they going? I don't even remember where they went. But that's where Steve Zahn's fucking around talking about.
Oh, they're going to the.
Oh, it was the burger place. That's where they went.
Well, yeah.
Because he fucks the car.
Right. He fucks the car. And that was one shot, I think. There weren't cuts or anything. He jumps up, hits his head on a sign. He's talking all this shit about whatever.
Ribisi's like, look out for the tree.
Yeah. Yeah, look out for the tree. I wonder how much of that was actually planned and how much was just Steve Zahn going ape shit. But it fit. It felt natural.
Well, and it helped Steve Zahn had been doing the play.
Yeah. I'm sure he was really tuned into
the character.
Yeah. He knew what Buff was all about.
Mm-hmm.
Not that he was about that much. Buff's not really deep.
No.
Nah, he's pretty one-dimensional.
But it's kind of nice. And what's
interesting...
But he
gets that Parkey Poser.
Parkey Poser?
Wow.
Parkey Poser?
Doogie Howser's sister?
Yeah.
Parkey Poser.
I knew as soon as it came out of my mouth.
The face you made was classic. I'm sad that when we listen back, I won't be able to see that face. Parkey Poser.
Whatever, she's not that attractive.
Fuck you. You guys are talking about Parker Posey like she's fucking ugly.
I never said that.
I never said either. I just said she's not even in my top 50.
Yeah, you both are like, I'd rather have Willow's girlfriend than fucking...
I never said that.
That's exactly what you said.
Plus, he doesn't have a girlfriend, he has a wife.
Oh, fuck off. Parkey Poser.
I'd rather have Elizabeth Banks.
Critiques me, can't even pronounce fucking names right.
No.
You bastard. Oh, boy.
And say, BB, I mean, she's barely in it. What are your thoughts on her?
Hot.
I agree, but...
I don't...
I think there wasn't enough of her to, give a judgment.
Troubled.
Yeah.
Really
Definitely
something happened in her life that... Yeah. Or she just has...
Well, she has a part where she's like, my parents put me in rehab. I thought that they loved me. And you're like, whoa.
But, as you could tell, she may have needed it.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, she needed it. But
Steve Zahn also screwed her over.
What Buff didn't help. But
no.
Honestly, he probably exacerbated the whole thing and caused the snowball to... Because she seemed kind of like a stiff at first.
Yeah.
Maybe an uptight, shy girl.
Probably because she saw them drinking. It's an awkward situation for her.
Right.
So.
Hey, I used to do a lot of that. And I can't really...
touch it anymore.
And she even says, I don't drink and smoke doobs, earlier. And nobody really says anything. You don't find out till later when she's talking about, oh yeah, remember how you were, institutionalized? And she's like, yeah, I was in a cell and people were rubbing shit on the walls and people my age are still sucking their thumb. And, I think she thought, why am I here when all these people are way more fucked up? Which I guess would be a problem if you got institutionalized. You'd be like, is that how they see me? Like, is this what I am? But I don't think she should feel that way. But again, you're young. Like, you take everything so hard when you got little world experience, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Not to say that it's not hard being young. It's tough.
It can be, yes.
Any transition's hard, but you just gotta, I don't know, adapt. Humans are all about adapting. It's how you survive. All right.
Yep.
Hit that wall pretty hard.
You like give up after like 2 seconds. Like, oh, we've hit a wall.
Yeah. Well, once I realized, I'm like, fuck.
Well, the thing with BB, I guess I just couldn't understand her reasoning behind her ODing, and just I know she had it hard. I know she was in rehab, but like you said, I think there are deeper rooted issues at play that aren't really enlightened during the film.
I think she says it.
Just the fact that she had a drug problem and she got put into rehab.
She had a drinking problem.
Yeah, drinking.
So she comes out and says, there's a part towards like one of the last times you see her before she OD or drinks or ODs or whatever Tim thought had happened. We don't really know. She hit that bottle fucking hard though.
Well, yeah. She had those pills too.
Yeah,
did
but
she
did
do
she
those
actually
pills?
Well, we don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
We saw as much as you saw.
Yeah.
Like it's up to the viewer, I guess. But what the fuck was I gonna say?
Near the end, she says something.
So towards the end, like one of the last times you see her, she's hanging out with Jeff, and she says, "Do you ever wake up and feel like every day is exactly the same?" Like she's obviously really fucking depressed,
Mm-hmm.
and it's one of those like I don't know. Once you're told like you're an alcoholic, that's kind of a demon you're gonna have to wrestle with forever. And when you're that young to kind of be told that you're an alcoholic, I could see it being like a big fucking thing to deal with. So I could kind of understand her being like, I don't want to fucking deal with it. Like, do you want to fight it forever? And like after she's already drank, she knows she's going back and she's like, I would rather die than go back there. So she doesn't want that, but she can't not drink. But it could be the people she surrounds herself with.
I think she enjoyed seeing Jeff's penis, though.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. She smiled when he was stripping, so.
It's true.
But
now that you say that, that makes a lot more sense. Mm-hmm. I do remember that line now.
I think some of it, too, came back to, like, she had built up all that while in rehab, like, hey, don't do this, don't put yourself in this position, etc., etc. And then she even tells Steve Zahn, I don't just hang out, which was... You know, for you youngins out there, that he was pretty much referring to Netflix and chill.
Oh my god!
Without the Netflix.
Without the net.
In a van down by the river.
Pretty much. And so she chilled with him, and then to see.
Stop! They fucked in a van. Please. If the kids don't understand that, they're hopeless.
What kind of kids are searching for a movie review pod?
I don't know. Hello, children.
My old friend.
Whoa, creepier song.
Goodbye, horses.
Nope, not that.
But she gave up, like, she let down one of those barriers they helped build up for her. And
it backfired immediately.
Yeah. So.
But the thing about Buff, I don't think he meant any malicious intent.
No,
I think he was just looking for, like, he was
drunk.
Yeah, they were just trying to have some fun.
Well, he was drunk, and I think he likes her. He isn't considerate. Like, he isn't thinking things through.
No.
So maybe I don't know, maybe that's another element, is you have people thinking way, way too far into things, and then you have someone who doesn't think into literally anything
at all.
Right. Yeah. And it works out for Buff. Like, the end of the movie, he's fucking Parker Posey.
Posey Parker?
Posey Parker. What'd you
Peter
call
Parker?
Parkey.
Peter Parker, yeah.
Parkey Poser.
Parkey Poser. Classic tie. Parkey Poser. He ended up with Parker Posey, dude. And he's like, I'm going to go to LA and we're going to do the video thing, but if that doesn't... He literally says if that doesn't work out, she's going to teach me how to surf. And it's like, that dude doesn't... Like... It's not even a glass half full thing. Like, you just have a glass of something and he's drinking that shit.
He throws caution to the wind. He's just gonna do whatever the fuck he wants.
Right, and it worked out.
Could have worked out for Tim. Had he been able to get it up.
Yeah.
God, whiskey dick.
I mean, when you're drinking like that, I'm surprised he was standing.
It's true.
But when you're drunk, you have a higher tolerance. But that motherfucker was drinking. Oh.
All right.
That's sad when he's in the liquor store, too, and the dude's talking about, the local high school team.
And from what I could tell, he used to be a quarterback.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do we want to go into scenes?
Sure.
Right.
Which scene? I'd probably have to pick the scene where Pony's playing the songs and Jeff's just kind of pacing in the background. You see him just stewing. And I told you guys, like, get ready. Like, he's going to explode. And that's, like, one of my favorite parts every time I go back to watch it is you just see Giovanni Ribisi he has this rage that's just boiling over slowly as Pony plays his bullshit songs about Man Invisible and whatever, and he'll question him.
His Clay Aiken song.
Yeah, and Jeff will question him, like, well, if, we're the Man Invisible, who the fuck are you? And he's like, oh, we didn't really get into how douchey Pony actually is, but Pony's like, you guys are the Man Invisible, we're like the artists, we're like the people above that tell the stories.
Watching.
Yeah, we're watching. We're taking record of what's going on, and we're sharing that with the people. And it was like, shut the fuck up. And you're just waiting for someone to tell this guy to shut the fuck up. And you see Giovanni Ribisi finally, like, he starts up another song, and he just goes, fuck! And just screams, and Pony stops playing, and he's like, if I wanted to hear your fucking music, I would have gone to your fucking concert. And you're like, yes, just let the hate flow. You're letting it out. I wanted to hear somebody say it. And, Pony does this bullshit like, I'm sorry, man. Like, I showed up in a limo and I'm being an asshole. And then he actually says, like, sorry if I have attitude. And you're like, shut the fuck up. What are you talking about? But he keeps trying to win Jeff over. And you can tell Jeff's just like, I don't like you, dude. Like, you're a piece of shit. Like, you think you're special and you're not. And I just love that scene. And what makes it better is Tim's just in the background, like, you're cute when you're mad. He's making all these comments and just kind of egging him on. And I liked seeing him unleash.
Drew?
Oh, God. I don't know. I'd probably say I like the tracking scene where they're on the way to the Whataburger and they're just, I don't know, they're just bullshitting. Just like, I can remember a time in my life where we'd do that. We'd walk to like a restaurant or to like a Burger King or something like that. And you're just hanging out, just goofing around with your friends and shit like that. And Steve Zahn's being ridiculous, like humping cars and fucking getting in Giovanni Ribisi's face. And I don't know. It's just a cool scene. Nothing spectacular about the dialogue, really, I don't think, to my recollection. Did they really talk about anything?
Well, Buff's not very deep.
No.
He's kind of talking out his ass for that whole scene.
It was just an entertaining scene. Nothing special about the dialogue. It was just fun to watch.
Buff is an entertaining storyteller, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he's talking about, this lady ordered a 12-inch pizza and wanted me to bring it out to the car. And
he's like, so I offered to bring it out to the car as he motions his tongue in and out of his mouth.
He does that a lot in this movie.
Yeah, and then he goes, I took all 4 bases, I hit the home run.
I drank a beer and...
I ate half the pizza. And...
Yeah. And he says something like, the only thing stronger than your imagination is your willingness to tell bullshit stories or something like that.
Mine is, we kind of talked about it, and it's a terrible scene in this film, and it's very early on, and it's when Jeff's ex-girlfriend, whatever you want to call it, at this moment it's his girlfriend, Sue does her slam poetry bullshit that is like, Abraham Lincoln, fuck me, Adolf Hitler, fuck me, John F. Kennedy, fuck me. My dad, fuck me. And she does some humping of the air, and then she's starts doing some...
She's like smacking her feet on the ground.
Yeah,
like stomping
and talking shit. And it's just like, what the fuck is this? And like, even Jeff was like, what the fuck is that? And
right.
she's like, it's going to get me into art school. And it's like, whatever. Because it's a piece of shit. He goes, I'm the man in your life, so you're pretty much saying I'm a piece of shit?
Right.
And she's like, it doesn't have to be about you, Jeff.
And she goes, I'm not performing it
right.
in a public place.
As if that makes it better. Even though you just performed it in a public place. Like.
But she's like, no, everything's about you. And he's like, well, I'm the man in your life, so obviously it's about me.
Right. They're like, man? And he's like, well, fucking significant other, whatever the fuck I am. Like, it's... Yeah, she wanted to argue about minute, like, the wording of things. Oh, he's a man? He's like, yeah, what the fuck am I? I liked his response to it, but I hate the performance.
Yes.
It's cringy.
It's a bad, terrible scene.
But I give her credit for putting her all into it.
She acted the shit out of it.
Right.
But it just is a terrible, terrible scene.
It's
so
just
cringy.
It's something it's just not something.
I don't think Leonardo DiCaprio could have made the scene better.
I mean, if he was yelling Gilbert while he did it.
All right. Any fun facts?
Well, I do recall reading that Roger Ebert actually really enjoyed that scene that we just talked about.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's why he died.
I don't think that's what killed him.
One thing we didn't mention was the guy who plays Zamir Naina-Najad from Office Space is in this movie.
I thought he was good.
Yeah.
He actually got a decent amount of like
screen time.
He got to show off some acting chops more so than Office Space. Other than him shaking that wheel going fucking shit. Love that. I like him though. He has that calm demeanor that I think was really good in this part.
I agree. I really liked his role.
I mean, he could flip out on the kids, but he could also bring it down, especially when he was talking to Jeff. Like he talked to Jeff like he was a regular dude.
Well, because Jeff was actually sane compared to Tim,
right?
Who was threatening him.
And I think he wanted to help Jeff out. Like, hey man, you might not see it, but you're not the same as Tim, you know.
Also, I know Ribisi was a little hesitant about getting naked on camera. He was like, "Is this actually necessary?" And he was convinced that it was. So,
art.
Yep. But yeah, this film has a 64% and a 67% on Rotten Tomatoes. What's the IMDb Metacritic? 6.8 on IMDb, 62 on Metacritic. It did have one nomination for a Spirit Award. For, I think it was the guy you just mentioned. Had a Spirit Award.
The guy I mentioned?
The guy from Office Space.
Oh.
But he lost to Jason Lee.
For?
Chasing Amy.
Interesting.
Because it was Best Supporting Actor. So.
Huh.
But, yeah. Other than that, the movie made some $650,000 box office, but I can't find any budget, so.
I don't think it got a wide release.
I don't think so either.
I
can't imagine the budget being terribly large for this movie.
No,
but at least
it's
I
pretty
could see
small.
$1 million, at least.
Maybe. He had done Dazed and Confused by then, so he might have got a little bit of money to play with. But I still think it was
on
indie.
the cheap, but
yeah.
But I'm still saying $1 million-ish. So.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's go into reviews. Jake, your movie, so.
This movie won't do it for everybody. It holds a special place in my heart, though. I just saw it at a time where I hadn't really seen a lot of movies like it, where people were talking about not feeling like they were in the right spot, and it's kind of one of those things I needed to hear, and even though there's parts of this movie that have kind of rubbed me the wrong way. They've always not been something I felt. It's one of those that kind of shows young angst in a way that I can really identify with, and I don't find it 100% cringy, and I don't immediately get frustrated with it, and I can see where the characters are coming from, because I think they're relatively well written. They're pretty well acted all around, to the point where I genuinely dislike some of the characters in this movie, and that's got to be an indication of quality, I think, somewhere. But like I said, I love it. It holds a special place in my heart. I like the philosophical debates. I like any movie that makes me think about big picture shit. Not all the time. You kind of got to be in a mood for it. You got to prepare yourself. You don't just jump into something like that. That'll fucking destroy your mood. But I'd probably give it an 8.5.
Yeah, it's my first time seeing this, obviously. It's a very, very hard to come up on movie, and there's no fucking way I would have ever seen this movie had it not been for you, Jake. So the thing I like about this movie, or movies like this in general, is you can take something simple and make it great. This movie's pretty much all dialogue, and that's what I like about movies like like Clerks. That movie's mostly all dialogue, but it's such good dialogue that it keeps you engaged throughout the whole thing. It makes you they take topics of conversation and just make them so enthralling that you don't necessarily care about the locale of where the scene is taking place. I mean, it's important, but in this movie or movies like Clerks, it's not a focal point. And so for the dialogue to be as good as it is and engaging as it is, it's neat to not just have to rely on shots. I think the characters are pretty well done. The whole idea of teenage angst, Jake, like you said, I really don't think it's done a lot of justice throughout media history. And there's very few films that I find that actually, take that upon itself and actually do it justice. But in this film, I think you do get a sense of where those kids are coming from, what a lot of their problems are, and what stems from that. I don't know, you just kind of get a sense of where those kids are coming from. The acting's decent. I enjoyed it overall. I would probably watch it again. I'd probably wait a little bit, but I wouldn't have a problem showing this to somebody. Albeit this movie kind of ends on a down note and it's kind of vague. But I can't really fault it for that. I kind of like the open-endedness and wondering what happened to BB and what maybe comes of Tim. But it's decent. I really enjoyed it. I give it a 7.8.
Yeah, so this was my first time watching this. I already kind of compared it, and so Drew, that it kind of has a Quirk-esque feeling to it of, that generation that's kind of just been lost and what you do and where do I find myself, and there are very few redeemable characters in this film, and even some of them, like, they are redeemable, but the other times they're not. We didn't really get into Pony, like we said. Hell, Erica, I think, is a fine. You actually find out more about Erica than you do some of these other characters, because Tim spells out exactly what she is right when he meets her. And so it's kind of funny that you're like, oh, I actually know a lot about this character. And you know what? To me, she's kind of one of the most redeemable because she just lived her life. So, not caring about anybody else or anything else. So
She lived a life that was given to her, though.
Yes.
Yeah. I thought that was awesome. That was a really awesome way to, like, learn about the character, like, super quick. And Tim just kind of, I don't know, he just kind of shot in the dark. Like, this happened to you, this happened to you, this happened to you.
Mm-hmm. But you know what? She never complained.
Well, she did complain.
A little bit, yeah. But
Because she was like, sometimes I want to try something new. And it's like, well, what do you have to be upset about? You know what I mean? But you can't really...
But
Go on.
I was going to say, I'm just saying, she complained a little bit, but at the same time, she's like, well, we can do anything. And Tim says, well, sometimes you don't want to do anything, or you don't want to talk. Or
She's rolling with the punches a lot better than pretty much everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you that.
But and some of it could have been just, had I watched this film maybe at a different time in my life, it would resonate more. But I don't know. I found myself watching this film, and Steve Zahn was fine. Like, the actors are all, for the most part, fine. I didn't really care for the actress who really played Jeff's girlfriend. I wasn't I gave her effort for trying in that one awful scene, but
Was it the hair?
the hair didn't help.
It's got to be the haircut.
It's the hair.
But no, I don't think she was that good anyways.
She's a little flat.
Yeah, and I don't think Pony was that good. But I mean, it does have a message to it, but it didn't hit me, and I really wasn't entertained. I know this is really going to throw the scores off compared to you two, but I'm going with a 3.
What the fuck?
I
thought you'd be low. I didn't think you'd be that low.
I couldn't get into it.
What? All right. Shit.
That's probably one of the few that
that's got to
scores
be
been
one of the
so
most
skewed.
lopsided.
UHF though.
As I say, you went like a 1.5, and I
Who was going particularly high on UHF though?
I think I did 6.5, but still, that's almost a 5-point difference. So
just because you can't identify with,
it's not that I don't know. You talk about entertainment, and there was something not hitting me about this film.
you just didn't find it entertaining.
No.
So it's like a super situation where I'm like, watch this movie with Rainn Wilson, then everyone's like, you're either a fucking serial killer rapist or a moron because that was garbage. And I'm just like, well, I thought it was.
See, I'm not saying it was garbage. It's not...
I mean, a 3 is kind of saying it's garbage.
Granted,
let's call a spade, Ty.
Granted, but at the same time, I'm not saying the film is a train wreck. I'm just saying I was not entertained. I just was like, it's a film about kids doing with a knight. So
what does Clerks do that this didn't?
I think there's a lot. I think the humor gets me more. Like, I love Steve Zahn in this film, but I think it gets too much too quick. Whereas like Dante and Randall in that film and their conversations like are more spread out and it works better. And then also I think when I saw Clerks was at this age, I should have seen this film.
All right.
And then also like, I don't know, I just related more with the writing that Kevin Smith did for Clerks. Like, it just seemed more reasonable to me.
Because they were having conversations about Star Wars and what would happen to the people that were building the Death Star.
And relationships. They had talks about relationships as well.
Nobody talked about that in this.
No, yeah, they did, but...
37 dicks in a row?
All right. You're entitled to your opinion.
He's going to say you're entitled.
Yeah, you're entitled.
Wow. Thanks, Jake.
You fucking millennial.
I don't know. That was way lower than I thought. I was taken aback. But that's fine. Like I said, it's not for everybody.
Drew, your pick is next week.
Yeah, I toiled a lot with the idea of what I was going to pick. I wanted to do a movie that I personally haven't seen, and I've heard great things. I know Jake has seen it, and I'm genuinely interested since it got a lot of Oscar praise. But I wanted to do Arrival.
It's your new Blade Runner director.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it.
Get to watch him work.
So,
I'm
Just
probably
a
gonna
second.
cry.
I gotta look something up quick.
Villeneuve. Is that what you're looking up?
No.
I'm gonna have to learn how to pronounce this guy's name if we're gonna do this pod.
Villanova.
Villanueva.
Villanueva.
I have to go back and watch the Oscars and see how they pronounce it.
Are we watching the 1996 Charlie Sheen Arrival?
No.
Or...
We're watching the 2016 Alien film,
That
Arrival.
was worth looking up.
Actually, I've seen it. I wanted to make sure it was the title the same thing, though.
Wow.
Charlie Sheen is not in this movie. Amy Adams is in this
Doesn't that look
movie.
good?
No. Not at all.
Who else is in this movie besides Amy Adams?
Jeremy Renner.
Jeremy Renner.
Okay.
Thanks for saying the right. I was going to say Jeremy Piven. That would be a lie. That would be a bad movie. Maybe not bad.
Forrest Whitaker is also in it.
Yeah.
Jeremy Piven just doesn't have the same screen presence.
Well, what's he doing anymore? Now that
Entourage,
Entourage
the
is
movie.
over.
But
no, I'm pumped. I'm pumped for Arrival. Hopefully it meets meets or exceeds your expectations.
I hope Jake cries again.
Honestly, I probably will.
Can we
Not
we videotape it and
No,
then put
no.
it on the pod?
No. I will hide
Just a picture of Jake crying.
I will hide in the corner and no one will know that it happened.
Using your tears for lubrication.
Or it'll be like the old commercial where someone litters and a single tear rolls down. That's what I'll do.
Or just like he'll be crying in the corner. We get a voice recorder. They'll look at him crying like a little bitch.
Yep.
And that's the legacy you leave behind.
How dare I have empathy?
How dare you have feelings? Get the fuck out of here.
All right. I think that'll do it for this week. Like, share, subscribe, Facebook, Libsyn, Twitter, YouTube. Anything else?
MySpace.
No.
We don't have MySpace.
Zanga.
Zanga.
Download us on your Zune.
Yeah. Yeah. On your favorite podcast app.
They will be listening on something that I never obtained. Always wanted.
Do you still want one?
Nah, not really. Do they still work?
They just aren't supported anymore.
Oh, so it can't talk to anything anymore?
No.
Great.
I'm sure you can find somebody's probably done something that you could download and it'd work. But
Get some mods for my Zune.
Yeah. You make it look just like an iPod.
That Zune Master Race. How fucking sad.
That might be a subreddit. Check that
Zune
out.
Master Race. Dude, I'd laugh my ass off if that was real.
All right.
Go post there tonight. What are you doing here, you fucking losers?
Upvote.
Upvote. Yeah. They know that they suck.
All right. I think that'll do it for this week. I'm Ty.
Jake.
And I'm Drew.